Welcome, everybody. I'm pleased to have you join us for this important topic. I met Tim Bohn 3 years ago, and he did a really nice presentation for us at our Triad conference on a similar topic, cybersecurity. We're always interested in keeping our information safe and private, right? So he did a great presentation. A lot of people attended, and I got to thinking, with this AI, and we're having some people who don't want to attend our Zoom meetings because Zoom is now AI, and we always record these things, and put them up on our Triad YouTube channel. And so I got to thinking, let's have Tim come back and talk a little bit about cybersecurity, privacy, and AI. And he's got some rules here for you to follow. He's going to be really good. Tim Bohn is the Deputy Chief Information Security Officer here at the UW-Madison. Yeah, one of those guys. Uh, Assistant Director of Cybersecurity Programs and Business Systems at the UW. And so, I don't know anybody who's better qualified than that to talk about this topic. Tim, if you would take over here and tell us just a little bit about how you got into this kind of a business. I mean, what a time to be in it, right?
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, Mike.
Well, thank
And
you.
thanks for inviting me out to talk to everybody here at the Triad and RSVP. It's a great time to do it. Yeah, as Mike said, I am the Deputy Chief Information Security Officer and Associate Director for Cybersecurity Programs and Business Systems. All of that to say is that I lead a team of cybersecurity professionals that do communication, training, and engineering. That's pretty much all that long-winded title into three simple words. But yeah, I've been in the IT field for the last 25 plus years, from both a military perspective and in the civilian side. Was on active duty back in '99, had the opportunity to jump in IT, and it was a great time to do that right before the Y2K, and I've been enjoying technology and information security since then. And what a great time to talk about this. So we're transitioning into a time of AI, and each there's generations that get defined by the technology that is out there. Many of us remember the server client type technology, where big mainframes in rooms and terminals going back to those mainframes. Then it's moved over to more of that decentralized, where each person had a their own computer. Then in the latest trend was 2007 with our mobile devices. That was a really big upheaval of technology with our life. And now, as of like 2022, they're classifying this the age of AI. Um, AI has been in place for a number of years, and many of the researchers here on campus are using AI in their research projects and things like that. So it's been really great to see the evolution over the past many years. I will get started with a little couple slides here, and we'll kind of chat and go through. And let's see here. I want that one. Here we go. And Mike, if you can help me kind of keep an eye on the chat there for any questions, that would be great.
Can do. And would you mind if people just unmute and blurt out a question or
Totally
uh,
fair.
so feel free, everyone, when something comes to mind, fire away.
Sounds great. All right. Kind of got five areas to talk about this morning. In this kind of our agenda, we're going to talk about what's AI, kind of some of the red flags, kind of checking on some of the catfish ideas. There's a strategy out there for using safe words, and then kind of going forward with AI for the good of everything. My intention today is to provide you with some helpful information and not try to make it fearful of the technology. I'm not one to throw fear into the mix. I want everybody to be able to understand and be safe. And but I will say that there are people out there that are using this technology for malicious intentions. But if you're aware of those intentions, which I hope I make aware of today, then my hope is that you're able to stay safe when you interact with artificial intelligence. And AI's got so many wonderful benefits that can help improve our day-to-day way of life. We just want to make sure that we do things in more of a common sense type manner. So who remembers the Terminator with Arnold Schwarzenegger, The Matrix with Keanu Reeves, or even more recently like iRobot with Will Smith? When we're talking about AI, it's kind of almost the reality that we're living. I know my parents and others living around me here feel like we're starting to live that type of environment where computers and robots are starting to come to life and take over the world. But um, it's almost what's kind of happening. But we just need to understand what AI is first and go from there. So, what is AI? I want you to think of AI as kind of a very helpful, very fast apprentice. Imagine a friend or a neighbor who's read every book in the library or even every book that's been written, right? You ask that person to write a thank you note. They know exactly how a thank you note should look like or should sound because they've seen thousands of them, but they're not thinking like you are. They don't have the mannerisms or the behavior that you have. They're just following a pattern that they've seen before. And that's the basis of AI. It looks at patterns, provides information that's been seen before in any type of request. Some very practical examples of AI on our phones when we text, predictive text, right? You see those little suggestions of words. That's AI in use on your phone. Um, Kind of some photo sorting. Sees a lot of photos in your gallery with dogs. That's AI helping you to sort those. Or even, Mike talked about spam. All those emails coming in and going into the spam folder. Email filters. That's another way of using AI in a day-to-day manner. So those are just some very practical everyday uses of AI. But it's also predictive text kind of on steroids. You think about when you're texting your family, you start out, how are, you know, and your phone immediately suggests the word you. It's a tiny bit of AI. It's like it's seeing how are followed by you so many times that it assumes that's what you want next. But now imagine that if that same technology has read every book, like I said, or written every photo, seen every photo ever taken, it wouldn't just guess one word. It could guess an entire paragraph, maybe even a person's voice, or even what a face looks like. But it's still just guessing patterns. But it's doing much, much faster than our phones used to do. Any questions on that I can help expand on?
Well, Tim, I got a little feedback there. I recently switched to keyboards on my cell phone. Uh, I've been giving Google, 100% of my attention for years and years. And then I read about this keyboard that doesn't send your typing to the cloud, and doesn't use AI supposedly to figure it out. And man, am I doing a lot of misspellings. And it's unbelievable, it's a lot more work without it. I'm thinking about switching back to Gboard, but it just, I like the idea of having my stuff private, but, uh, you know, this AI has made it pretty easy for me to scratch out a message and send it to somebody.
Totally agree. And even the grammar correction or spelling corrections, things like that, it's it's using AI in the background.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
so now the next two sections I want to talk about red flags and kind of the catfish, kind of going hand in hand. We're going to talk about some of the ways, malicious ways that bad people, bad actors use the technology and can leverage AI. But then I want to come back with some strategies to help everyone stay safe. So for the first malicious actor intention, kind of the scripted actor test. AI is getting so good that it can copy a person's voice perfectly, down to like little laughs or gestures and things like that. It can actually just like sound like your family members. And it says, as it says here, AI only really needs like 3 second clip of a loved one's voice to recreate that and to learn its patterns and things like that. But here's the secret. Even if the voices are correct, just remember the behavior is usually wrong, right? It's like a scripted actor, kind of a scammer calling you and playing a role. They've got a script that they want you to follow, and they have a movie that they want you included in, but they want, I'm in trouble. Don't tell mom. I need money right now. Kind of panic in their voices and a sense of urgency, secrecy, and money. But again, that's the voice and not the behavior. So kind of wanting to separate those two ideas. So if you suspect a call is fake, go off script. Ask a question that's not in their movie, right? Ask what's the name of the dog that we had when you were 5? Or what did we eat for dinner last Thanksgiving? Like something off script. A computer program hasn't lived your life and it can't answer those questions. But just make sure that the answer that you want back is not one that's been out on a social media post because obviously AI has been scouring and people have been reading those up.
Tim, is AI vacuuming up all of those Facebook messages? I mean, all of these large language models, are they vacuuming up Facebook messages that are sent to the world?
There are claims that they're not. Um, Meta says that they are protecting their the posts, and as long as your privacy is set properly within Facebook, um, then it is not shared out. Um, but you have to look at your privacy settings within within those apps. Make sure that you're not sharing your location with the app. Make sure that um, you go into the privacy settings and make sure that you're reading each and every individual type of setting that's in there and stuff like that because they do like to try to hide those by default so that they can build out their local language model.
Mhm.
So yeah, tidbit there just to go and make sure that when you install an app and it asks for certain permissions, make sure you understand what those permissions are doing for the app because you can always turn them off. Facebook doesn't need to know your location, doesn't need to know your have your microphone on, right? Unless you're using Messenger to make phone calls. But Facebook doesn't need a microphone, those type of things. Another good way to safeguard yourself is, if you get one of those scammer calls, um, hang up the phone, call your loved one back on a phone number that you know. Um, if the call you get says that, hey, I'm in jail. I need you to send me money. Don't tell my parents. Remember, it's voice versus behavior. Just hang up, call their cell phone number that you have saved. If they answer, there's no harm. But if they don't answer, call another family member that you might know what's going on. You know, try to separate yourself from that script. Another malicious intention is getting catfished, right? Catfish is in this context is someone reaching out to you with a photo, wanting you to respond back with money or phone number or become personal. Kind of like that online friend reaching out, but you have no idea who it is. You know, we've all seen photos that look just a bit too perfect, right? Magazine cover type photos. And in this world of online friends or even dating, you know, AI can create a person who doesn't exist. You know, when you look at the photo of a new online friend, look for the glitches. AI is like a painter who's great at faces, but forgets how hands work. Sometimes they have six fingers on a hand, or look at their earrings. There may be, you know, one might be one color and the other might be the other color, or they may not match. Um, if they look like a movie star, but their background is just a blurry mess, trust your gut. It's probably right. It's probably computer generated. And if a stranger online is too shy to do a video call, but their profile picture looks like a professional model, that's your cue to kind of do a digital background check on that photo. And we'll talk about that a little bit more. I noticed on Facebook people posting lost or injured pets. That's a good question. Um, I guess it's dependent upon the context that you find those photos, I guess. If
So,
it, yeah,
so
go
I
ahead.
can explain. Every once in a while, I haven't seen it lately. You'll see a post on Facebook like, I found this poor dog that's injured, and they'll have a picture of an injured dog, and they'll say, whose dog is this? And so I think the point is to get people to message them and say, oh, let me donate something to take care of this dog, or that they can just like create this false sense of friendship over everyone's love for animals and this empathy. So they're looking for empathetic people to then build an online fake relationship with. That's the only thing I can think of.
And that's the way I would intend it as well. Like people trying to befriend somebody that's got the human emotions to like, oh, I want to help this pet, and then reaching out and totally agree. And
And
then
oddly enough, they're rarely in the group that applies to pets. They'll be in random places.
sure, yeah, and Facebook I've noticed this over late that you're getting less and less of your friends' posts on your day-to-day feed, right? You're getting more ads, you're getting more, oh, this might be interested to you or something like that.
Mhm.
And so it's just stepping back and taking a look at it, be like, just kind of analyze it a little bit and be like, why is that person doing what they're doing? Totally agree. Totally agree. And I mentioned digital background checks on phones, um, or photos. You know, this is kind of interesting where um, you can use a simple site like Google Images, um, right? And taking taking a photo from your computer and do a search on Google Image. I'll try to do. Let me see. I'll connect my phone here real quick, and I'll try to show you what what this looks like in real time. Technology at its greatest here. Let's see if this works. All right. So there's my phone. And if we go out to Google and we go images.google, there's this little camera icon over here on the right of the search, right? So say we have a photo of, I would say, so I apologize if nobody's heard this before, but I'm going to use Robert Duvall's photo here because recently he passed away, and he's been in the news here. Or and so we can take our phone and I can line up with the picture here, and I hit the search button, and it gives me a search result of that image, right? Which is really helpful to where if you have a question about an image, then it's a great way to do that search, right? So just wanted to share that in real time that you could do some type of digital background check like that.
That would be, I was looking at those mug shots that were right beside Robert Duvall's picture, I mean, you think businesses are doing quick, I mean, people can fake their names easily, but you can't fake your face cheaply anyway. So do you
Right.
think that they might be, get a picture in from somebody, you search like that?
Totally agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like AI could generate your face really well and kind of pick that out and author it up like a magazine cover.
Mhm.
But if you do like a quick search like that Google image search, you can see where maybe that photo is coming from, or if it is truly that picture. So,
Mhm.
or that person that they claim to be. You get imagine you get a nice man named Arthur messages you on Facebook, right? I'll just use Arthur as a name. He's a widower in Ohio, and you take his profile picture and you put it into Google like that. Suddenly, the computer shows you the same photos being used by 10 different people with 10 different names all over the world. You know, then you have a scammer, and that's what I'm referencing here when I say you just got catfished. The photo isn't Arthur; it's just a picture a scammer stole or AI created or something like that. So, doing a brief check like that, kind of like I said, voice, photo versus behavior. And now that we've talked about some of those malicious ways of AI coming at you, let's talk about a tactic that you can use with your family to be proactive. Bridget, if you're already in Google, also right click. Yep, there you go. Exactly. That's another way of doing it. So let's talk about the safe word strategy. Parents of young kids do this strategy, or I used to do this too when my kids were younger. Um, we'd pick a safe word for the family. This way, if somebody comes to the school to pick up your child that they're not familiar with, and the child asks, "Hey, what's the safe word?" Or what's our family word? And if that person doesn't know it, then the child knows to get away and seek a well-known adult. We can leverage that same type of strategy as adults when it comes to AI as well. We can pick a safe word as a family. Make it something silly, private. Blueberry muffins or Poughkeepsie, whatever you'd like to make it. But keep it within your family. Don't put it out on social media or emails or anything like that. But leverage that safe word, that if you do get a call from a loved one saying that they're in need of help, whether it's in jail or hospital, don't panic. Just say, hey, I want to help, but I need to know the safe word first. If they can't give it to you, then it's a scammer. Hang up, call your relative directly. A real emergency is still going to be there 2 minutes later and after you've made that call to verify. Yeah, go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, Steve, go ahead and fire away.
I'm speaking away here in muted mode. So I was just saying for Tim that the body of your slides shows a font that's more familiar, very legible and clean, and something we're more familiar with. The header, though, is more modern, that rounded machine-like look.
Sure.
That's quite a difference from the other. I was wondering, were these fonts picked by AI, or did you have AI make these slides, or is there some implicit discordance between the headers and the body that you were intending, or was that just, yeah, and I have a focus on this because I'm taking a course in cartography and making maps, and we're looking at fonts a lot, and you just don't typically see such a dichotomy in fonts as you're displaying here. What's your take on that?
Well, yeah, and thanks for calling it out, Steve. I really appreciate that. I would say that uh, I've used this as I got this design from Canva or SlidesGo or something like that. So, um, yeah, it was all about the template of the slide. I thought the graphics were really good. Uh, Looking at it now, yeah, I definitely think that I could have cleaned up the font a bit more. But yeah, it was kind of just a general template to, instead of a blank white page, right? It's kind of gives a little bit more clarity or emphasis when there's photos and things like that. So
I just have to say that these tools are so powerful. I'm kind of just new to using AI intentionally, and I was able to take a picture of one of your slides and ask Gemini, what fonts are these?
sure.
And immediately Gemini knew.
There you go. That's a perfect example of using AI. So
Thanks.
sure. Yeah. So back to the family safe word. Yeah. Again, if there is a real emergency, it's going to be there 2 minutes later after you make that call to verify. Um, so lastly, coming here at the bottom of the hour, which gives us plenty of time to talk. Um, so let's talk a little bit about how AI can be your digital guardian angel. Um, yeah, Steve, if you wouldn't mind sharing, I don't think I captured that, what that font is. But I'm going to send these slides out to Mike too, and he'll be able to post it and send out to everybody. So everybody will have these slides, and you can definitely key in that as well. So don't want to leave with you're feeling like AI is a monster under the bed. It's actually helping keep you safe every day. Uh, First one, when your bank calls you because somebody tried to use your card in another state, right? That's AI in the background looking out for you. It's like a digital guardian angel that never sleeps, watching your accounts, your emails to keep the bad guys out. But it's looking at those patterns. It's not looking at the individual transactions. It's looking at patterns like 5 days of being in Madison, uh, making transactions within Madison, and then all of a sudden you're making a purchase out in South Korea. Like that's a red flag for a bank. They're gonna flag that and be like, hey, did you authorize this transaction? You get the phone call, right, to say, hey, did you authorize that transaction? I know I've done that a couple times where I've made purchases online, and Summit's always called me and they're like, hey, did you authorize that? That's a way of AI helping out. Another great example of AI is working in our everyday lives is how many people have Echoes, Amazon Echoes, or other smart devices in our homes. You know, they all leverage AI to interact with you. When they say Alexa, turn on a bedroom light, or Alexa, what's the weather? You know, these devices are using a version of AI that recognizes your voice and the commands to provide services. The last example I've got is Apple Watch or the Samsung Galaxy watches. Right, these devices have the ability to track medical trends for you and help you with everyday life, just like your phone. So those are all AI. Susan's got a question there. I keep hearing about ChatGPT. Yeah, ChatGPT is it's an application that uses AI in the background, or a large language model is what we call it. That large language model is like that neighbor that's read all the books in the library, or all the books ever written, and sees patterns. So that large language model has all of the data and the computing power behind it. ChatGPT then is just a friendly front end to that large language model. And similarly, you know, Steve mentioned Gemini. So Gemini is also that front end to the large language model. That's Google's version of the AI. Microsoft has Copilot. So these are all just basic applications that are interacting with that large language model. Um, Again, Sandy, I mentioned settings within your phones. There are privacy settings um, within your phone, within your watch, um, the hospital, things like that. Uh, Epic does a very good job within their software of keeping everything tight and protected within the application. Um, I don't want to say that they're you know, impervious to hacks, but they do a very good job of trying to keep that secure. But also just being aware of where your information is put out there. Do a Google search. Like I'll do that right now. Like we'll do a quick Google search. I'll say I'll put my name in there, and well, there we go. There I am. The IT Professionals Conference. Oh, I didn't know if I was an actor.
And are you the assistant athletic director?
Right?
Media relations.
Or even up at Stevens Point. That's crazy.
Uh-huh.
But well, there's my Facebook. No, that's not my. Yeah, there you go. Oh, I even passed away.
Oh, you're gone now.
Um, but that's just a good way of kind of checking to see. But just like I said, make sure you look through your settings. Make sure that you're aware of um, I guess I'll do that again where I'll let's see here. We can go into, let's see if I can, there we go. Settings. We can go down
This would
here.
be an Android device.
This
right? A
is an Android,
Samsung
yes.
device. Yeah.
Yeah,
Apple would be a little different.
right. So under security and privacy, we've got different ways to, um, oh, it's telling me to check my Samsung account. All right. But this is looking at, your settings and everything like that. Um, oh, I guess I should put auto blocker on there.
And one thing that's great is that these security systems have evolved a lot over the last couple of years. And things that were not in the settings, for managing your privacy are in there now. And
Totally
so,
agree. I would say too, as far as I know, um, many, I would say many seniors that I talk to, older adults, um, my parents included, don't do a lot on the lock screen. Lock screen is a good way of securing your device if you leave it somewhere, things like that. So definitely want to make sure that there's a lock screen on there. Gene's question, is there a cost to use Gemini, ChatGPT, etc.? No, Gemini is actually free from Google. What's really nice is you can create an image, you can start something, you can help me learn. It's like a boosted search engine, right? To where, say, I can say role, um, general user, task, or actually one way I've done Gemini is help me create code to link Google Sheets to, I'm a Lego fiend, and rebreakable.com does a good job for inventory. Um, do something like that where, help me create code to link Google Sheets to a rebreakable inventory where I can do something like that.
so that's creating Google Sheets code for you?
Yeah. So it linking Google Sheets to rebreakable is a fantastic way to track your Lego collection without having to manually update spreadsheets, right? So it gives you some prerequisites, tells you what you need, but then shows you the setup. Open up a new Google Sheet and kind of walks you through the actual code. It's a quick, dirty way of saying, hey, I don't know how to do this task. Walk me through how to do this task.
Uh-huh.
Um, I don't have any recommendations on brochures. I will say, let's see here. I know at UW we have a knowledge base, and this knowledge base is open to the public. Um, Actually, let me change my context here and go to my personal, so that way I'm not tied to my university account. But I would say that we've got a lot of information about, say, do something like that for phishing. And we've got articles out here for phishing detection and remediation. And maybe this is something that would be helpful for you, Bridget, to where it kind of gives you some warning signs to help identify phishing, or um, what to do if you receive a questionable email. Now, again, some of this is local to UW, but like as far as like what should I do? Um, but it gives you some good information there about detection and things like that. Junk mail filters in Microsoft 365, things like that. So feel free to use our knowledge base at UW. I know if you find anything that's under cybersecurity, my group has written those articles, so they're really good. So. And to Amy's question, yes, this knowledge base is open to the public. Do a search. You will find pages that are internal to UW, and it'll ask for a login. I don't know if I have any here, but like I said, right now I'm on my personal Gmail account, and so far it has not asked me for my credentials. So,
Tim?
yeah.
Do you know how often knowledge base is updated?
We have a process on campus to have these articles reviewed at least once a year.
Okay.
So they do get sent back to the authors of the articles to be reviewed once a year.
Okay.
And
I ask because, scams evolve so quickly, so quickly. What might be there in 2024 it doesn't even pertain anymore, hardly. So,
right. Yeah, I totally agree. But you can definitely see when the last time it was updated there on the right.
oh, that's helpful. Thank you.
Yeah. There's a nice article. Yeah, thanks, Todd, for understanding deepfakes. Thanks for that. Barb and Dick, what if you click on something you shouldn't? How to undo? Can you come off of mute and talk about that a little bit?
Oh, I'm just thinking if you're in an email and you click on it and it is a scam, how do you undo it and get yourself out of trouble?
Understand. And when your email client, are you using like Google or Yahoo or any of those other type web-based type emails, or are you actually using like Outlook that's installed on your computer?
Outlook.
Generally what I do, let's see here. If you click on an email in Outlook,
They have a little something says do this and this and then click here. And if you click here and then you realize I should not have clicked there, how can you undo what you just did?
sure. I think at that point, what I would do is turn the power off to the computer as soon as you recognize that. Sometimes those when you click here and it takes you to a web page, there's kind of two things that happen with that.
Tim, that happened to me just a few weeks ago. I clicked on a link and I thought I was going to archive.org, to look for an old article. And the article popped up, and then something else popped up, and I clicked on that. And the next thing you know, I have flashing pop-ups saying, "Oh, you're being infected. You've got to go here, there, and somewhere else." And I thought, I just like froze, And at that point, I talked. I think I mentioned that to you when we first started talking about this, and I remember you recommended just cut the internet. Don't let your computer communicate with the internet any longer. Right.
Right. That's what I'm saying is hit the power. If you're on a laptop, hold the power button down until everything goes black.
Totally kill it.
If you're on a desktop, just pull the power cord or hit press the power, something to interrupt that connection, because like what happened with you, Mike, like additional pop-ups will show up. There you go. Yeah, thanks, Amy.
It was giving me all sorts of things to click on, click here, save your computer. And then I realized, McAfee isn't going to do that, right? I don't even have McAfee on they're trying, that's phishing bait. I clicked on a phishing link somehow, and yeah, I just shut down the computer as quickly as I could and then restarted and scanned, for antivirus, and malware. But
Yep.
yeah, it can be really scary when you do that.
Totally agree. Yeah. I mean, know the applications that are on your computer as well. Like if you're running Windows 10, Windows 11, it already has an antivirus in there. It's Windows Defender. So if you get a McAfee pop-up or a semantic pop-up, you don't have those applications on there. So it'll appear scary at the moment, but again, take a step back. It's not the behavior that happens, and disconnect the power immediately and do all of that, everything that Amy's got there in the chat.
So we just had a situation where someone wanted or had gotten an email they thought was from Social Security. And they said, should I click on it? And I'm like, no. Were you expecting an email from Social Security? No. Then go to Social Security in your browser and log in. Don't follow a link unless you specifically ask for it.
Totally agree. Yeah. And that's what happens too, is those phishing emails will come out if you're not expecting something, or even if you are, say, a delivery package, right? You're expecting a delivery, say, from FedEx, right? A package that you ordered or something like that. Scammers are using FedEx or UPS as the name on the account, but look at the email, right? Look at the what we call the domain. So whatever at the @ symbol, and then there's a name after that. That domain, if it's not coming from FedEx.com, then it's scam or it's spam, and then you don't need to touch that. So to your point, Birgit, is it Birgit? Birgit. Okay, all right. I apologize for butchering your name there so many times, but yeah, it's looking at just that little minute thing, just to look at the end of the @ symbol to make sure that it's either SSA.gov or FedEx.com or UPS.com, those known websites that are communicating with you.
One of the most devious uses of AI to scam people I saw in the news a few weeks ago. A guy down in Florida was into one of these get a free Tesla things online. And so he was sending in entries to get a free Tesla. Well, they got in touch with him, and guess what? He had just won plus $100,000. Yeah, free Tesla. Well, and of course, the message was delivered in an AI video by Musk himself. Of course, before you get that Tesla, though, don't forget there's $7,500 in processing fees, and it's got to be in cash.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then eventually they managed to milk $45,000 out of the guy before he realized there was something wrong. It's just like, it was realistic, unbelievable. I mean, it just looked like Musk. It sounded like Musk, but it wasn't Musk. It was some guys, who knows where.
Yeah.
Anyway, I mean, it's incredible, and you just have to use some common sense, don't you? I mean, is anybody going to be giving away $100,000 and a Tesla just by sending in an entry? Probably not.
Totally agree. Yeah, and going back to a question there from Alice, I apologize, I missed that. She had mentioned earlier about her hearing about an app on a phone that physically locates family members who are signed up with it. So I actually use an app like that for my family. It's called Life 360. It's let's see, do I still have my phone up? Yeah. Um, and to your point, each need to sign up for it, but this is a great way for me and my family to stay connected, to make sure that we're um, you know especially with older kids. I've got a 28-year-old that's married out on the eastern side of Wisconsin. I've got a 17-year-old here with the house. Um, we're on that constantly just to make sure that if we're not talking about where we're at, we can just physically see where everybody's at. So um, there are probably some negatives and some risks to using it. Again, look at that privacy, take a step back and just review the settings of that. But again, as a cybersecurity professional, I've used it. I'm using it for my family and stuff like that. So if that's a concern of you and your family, then there's a time to uh, make sure that the app usage outweighs the risk to your family and stuff like that. So
Yeah, and just a comment. Uh, we had an incident. I mean, with older people, I think it's a wonderful way of locating them if they're not in the place they said they would be, you know?
correct. But be aware that the location of their avatar is where their phone is. And if their
Right.
phone is not with them at the time, then you have to question that as well. But you're right. It is a great way to locate people and stuff. So
And
uh,
can I ask a follow-up to Alice's,
sure.
which is, can Life 360, can you register air tags on Life 360? So conceivably, you could know where the body is if they have an air tag on them. Do you know if that's I'll Google it if you don't know.
Yeah, I'm not
Okay.
familiar with that. My kids would like
Yeah.
my three kids all have Apple, and my wife and I have Galaxies. So
Okay. Okay.
the
Thank you. No, I'll Google it.
yeah, totally agree. I appreciate that.
Also, this
Um,
is kind of a side note about the like the location stuff you guys are talking about, but there are ways to like don't I mean Life 360 is a lot harder to finesse, but a lot of the other apps and stuff, it's actually pretty easy to like glitch it where it will show your location somewhere else. So don't always take those like super to heart either, because it's pretty easy to mess with those. As someone who grew up in the generation of technology, it's pretty easy to finesse that way out. So just keep that in mind too.
yeah, totally agree. Thanks, Heidi, for that.
Okay, so Life 360 tracks tile trackers, not AirTag, Apple AirTags, tile
Oh,
trackers.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you. As for Rook, every app on phone has option for Apple Intelligence as Siri, which I can turn off. But is there a faster way? I'm not sure with the Apple side, but I know with on the Galaxy side that if I go into let's see if I can do this here. If I go into my settings here and I go to like app permissions. Oh, I can go to location here, and I can see which um, which apps have requested recent access to my location and stuff like that. So at least on a Galaxy side, I can do that pretty well. Jeannie recommend using DuckDuckGo versus Chrome or Bing. I don't have a preference. I use DuckDuckGo as my search engine, but I have Google Chrome as my browser. I just like the ability in Google to group tabs together, have different accounts on different browsers, things like that. So Google Chrome has been work out well for me, but I've defaulted to DuckDuckGo as my search engine. And that's just me on a Windows machine. If you are on a Chromebook, Google Chrome is by default. You can't install anything else. If you're on a Windows machine or a Mac, then you have the option to use Chrome or Bing, or the old Internet Explorer from Microsoft. On Mac, it's Safari or Firefox. So there's multiple browsers. I don't really have a preference for either one of them. I think they all work pretty much the same. Let's see here. Yeah, Nancy, good thought there. Once got a shrieking sound from and you shut down your computer. Yeah, that's the best way. Let's see here. Going down in chat. Yep, there's 360. Yeah, I know we're coming to the top of the hour, and it's been a great discussion. I really enjoyed this, and hopefully the community here has found some great interest in some application ways to apply AI in general life. I did share on the screen there, and I'll share again. If anyone would like to, feel free to hit me up. There's my email. And if you are on LinkedIn, feel free to send me a LinkedIn entry as well.
And Tim, would you be willing to do presentations with other organizations that might be looking for this kind of information?
Sure. Yeah, happy to help. It's I love the collaboration and it's my mouse being. But yeah, would love the chance to do other things with other groups. It's kind of that Wisconsin idea, sharing our knowledge and broadening the community and helping everyone out. So.
And we'll have this in a couple of days on our YouTube channel. Tim gave us permission to, and the UW gave us permission to record and put that there. It's Triads of Dane County on YouTube. Tim, thanks a million. I really appreciate you taking the time out to pass along this amazing information. Really appreciate it.
Sure. And like I said, Mike, I'll get these slides over to you so you can post that as well.
Alrighty. Well, thank you, everyone. Take care, and we'll see you again next month.